Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. I know you've seen a lot of videos about consistency, how to be consistent, how to get consistent, but you know what I really would rather talk about right now is consistent consistency. Here's the thing, we either struggle with finally getting consistent, or we're really good at being consistent, but only in certain seasons of our lives, meaning we easily fall off. For a few weeks, we're really good, we're really consistent, we pat ourselves on the back, we're proud of ourselves, and in the next few weeks, it's just completely different. And I get that because I've been on two ends of that spectrum. In the past, I've struggled with either never really getting consistent, or today, being consistent, but still sometimes in certain seasons, I'm just not. And I know you can relate to that, hence you jumping on this video. So I'm gonna talk about it today, vlog style, while I get ready this morning, while I drink this disgusting morning smoothie that I thought
was gonna be good, but I put way too much spring mix in it, and that flavor is a little too strong for me, okay?
but we're making it work. So let's get started. If we haven't met yet, I'm Angel Marie. I'm a Christian life and business coach dedicated to helping creatives break industry norms by learning to master their money, marketing, and mindset in their business God's way. God calls us to be consistent. He calls us to be good stewards over our work, over our relationship with Him, over what He has blessed us to have in our life. But we easily fall off due to feeling burnt out, feeling overwhelmed, having way too much on our plate. I messed that up. It's actually really difficult to multitask. As you can see, I can't even multitask, talk while doing my makeup and looking at the camera. But you know what? We're working on it. Whether you're burnt out, overwhelmed, tired, feeling insecure, not feeling confident, all of these things can trigger our inability to be consistently consistent. And it's frustrating because I'm sure you want to be. I'm sure you're ready to be. Life can be a lot. It's a blessing, but some seasons are just really difficult to continue being consistent in, especially when it comes to doing what God has been calling you to do as a creative, as an entrepreneur in your business, with that book, with that project, whatever it is. So I want to give you God-centered tips that can help you get consistently consistent more than you ever have before. These are things that I have been implementing over the past year, and it has made all the difference in my productivity and what I've been able to achieve in the past year versus prior years. First thing, set a steady schedule that works best for the kind of person that you are. I say this because we're all different. We all have different roles. God calls us to different things. We all have different personalities. He has literally shaped us purposely to be different from one another, which means that what works for someone else might not work for you. What works for you might not work for someone else. And so many times when it comes to getting consistent and having a schedule and time management, we're copying these strategies that a lot of online gurus are teaching us about. Now, let me be clear. Those strategies are great. Obviously, they know what they're talking about in regards to how getting consistent works for them. I know what I'm talking about in regards to how consistency works for me. But at the end of the day, because consistency has a lot to do with you sticking to a steady schedule, and a lot of your motivation to sticking to a steady schedule is going to depend on the kind of person you are. Do not deny what works best for you. Don't jump right into what online gurus are telling you and completely dismiss the fact that maybe, just maybe, you should go about it a little bit differently based off of the type of person that God created you to be. For example, if you are trying to get consistent and you implement a strategy that a lot of online gurus talk about, which is batch creating, meaning you create a bunch of content at once in a single day to help you be consistent in posting those pieces of content throughout the rest of the week. But if you are the type of person that is more of an introvert, maybe batch creating multiple pieces of content in front of a camera in a single day is too overwhelming for you. So if that's the case, what does it look like for you to create a steadier schedule when it comes to batch creating, if you even want to do that, that aligns better with who you are as a person? Habit stacking is another good example. It is a great strategy to help you implement a new habit, to be consistent in that habit, simply by attaching it to an already existing habit that you do in your normal everyday schedule that you don't even think about anymore, like brushing your teeth or making breakfast in the morning. But maybe you're the kind of person that doesn't eat breakfast, or maybe you make a fast one on the go, and trying to attach another habit to that before you leave for work or for whatever you got to do is just a little bit too much for you. That's okay. How can you take strategies that people are encouraging you to implement to help you be more consistent, while at the same time considering who you are as a person, how you are as a person, and finding a steady schedule, a steady way that works for you? Think about your unique schedule. Think about your unique situation. Think about what you have going on. Think about your personality. Think about what motivates you and what doesn't. Think about the person that God created you to be, and base it off of that to create healthy change in your life to help you become more consistently consistent. That brings me to my next point, substitute dates. This is something I made up. Maybe it's already out there in the online space somewhere, but this is something that I have been implementing in my schedule for about a year now. And I call it substitute dates. And what it means is if in my schedule I plan to do certain things on certain days, I always have a backup date to get those things done if for some reason I am unable to get them done on the original date that I set. Reason why is because life happens. I might be sick. I might have a family emergency or thing that I have to tend to. Or maybe I wake up that day and I'm spiritually low and I just need to prioritize a mental health day, a spiritual day to get back right with God. If that were to happen, I don't feel this pressure to get something done just because I scheduled to get it done that day. Instead, I have a substitute date or dates, if that works better for you, to get it done, while at the same time sticking to a schedule as best as I can that I had already pre-planned in order to help me be consistent. This works really well for me, but the trick is actually sticking to the substitute date that you set rather than finding yourself having multiple substitute dates because you end up just pushing things back. If you are in that mode of constantly pushing something back, then at that point, we're not being as well of a steward that God calls us to be. And we're jumping into procrastination rather than just having flexibility by creating a substitute date to help us to still get that thing done. Not necessarily easy, but it makes all the difference when you actually implement it. Last tip I want to give, be extremely aware of when you're starting to feel overstimulated. Overstimulation inside of your brain can cause you to feel so tired and so burnt out to the point where you literally cannot be consistent. And this is the point where you unintentionally start to fall off. Overstimulation can be caused by a lot of things. Stimulating yourself too much with social media, stimulating yourself too much with your computer and your work, stimulating yourself too much with errands and these never-ending lists of tasks to do, stimulating yourself with too much TV as a way of unhealthy escapism. I'm also talking to myself there. Overstimulating yourself by having maybe a little bit too much people time. Although community is great, God calls us to be in fellowship with one another, but at the same time, we also need to give ourselves space to be poured back into spiritual rest, Sabbath, all that. Being overstimulated can kill your consistency because eventually overstimulation will cause your brain to be so crowded, so clouded, so fogged that you do not have space for anything else. You don't have space to be consistent. This happened to me very recently where I had to pause and stop myself. I just got back from traveling last week, right after I got done with a big business launch and right in the middle of me doing a ton of wedding planning. I'm getting married in a few months, yay! And as great as all of that is, I got to the point where I was so overstimulated that I was having these crazy anxiety attacks. I had to pause because I realized I was way too overstimulated and have a conversation with God about where I'm struggling and what I need to do differently. Okay, had to finish getting dressed really quick because I'm a little bit in a rush. At the end of the day, getting consistently consistent is possible, it is doable. It's just all about you implementing certain strategies or tips like what I shared in this video or what other people might be recommending too that could be helpful, but also considering who you are as a person and making sure that's in alignment with God calling you to be a better steward, not just over what He's blessed you to have, but also over your time and what He's calling you to do. And getting consistently consistent is a really good way to be obedient and to honor that level of stewardship. I hope this video was helpful for you today. Feel free to share it with a friend. I'm gonna finish the rest of this nasty smoothie that I'm almost done with and start my workday. Also, I really don't know what this is. I tried to do a cute little braid. Does it look better in the back? It probably looks worse. Whatever. It is what it is. Bye. See you later.